What is the purpose of CSS Media Queries? Media queries allow you to control how your site or app will display across different devices. This is based on the presence or values of various device characteristics and parameters. Media queries run behind the scenes to determine how the HTML content should be displayed on each media type for collecting information and applying the CSS properties you designate. The HTML code does not change. However, each media device, whether it is a phone, tablet, or a computer, the content layout appears differently due to the screen width, height, and viewing orientation. So how does media queries work? A media query is a logical expression that collects media feature information about the media type to determine if the media feature is true or false. If the query is false, the CSS properties included in the equation are ignored. But first we have to understand the elements of the query. What does it need to complete its objective? First, it needs to have a media type. Media types are the actual device that the query will use for the logical expression of the media features. There are currently 4 media types as of July 2018 in the Media Queries Level 4 draft. They are print. These cover printers and other devices that are intended to display or reproduce a printed display, such as a Nook, Kindle, etc. Speech are devices that are similar and read out a page for the user. Screens cover all devices that aren't covered under print and speech. And then you have the all option that covers every device. There are deprecated media types that have been used in the past. They are TTY, TV, projection, handheld, braille, embossed, and Arial. And if you find that a deprecated media type classification fits your needs, then it is best if you select an appropriate media feature that best represents the aspect of the device. The other item that is necessary for a query is the media features. These are more specific aspects of a device or user agent. However, they do resemble CSS properties, but they are used to describe the requirement of the output device. When we write the query, these are wrapped in parentheses and combined with logical operators or keywords such as and nor. Now let's take a look. What makes up the parts or syntax of a CSS media query? There are 4 features included in the example. However, only 2 are required to have a media query. The @ rule lets the query know where to get the information. Does it process in the HTML file, or does it have to go to the CSS file? Keywords are also known as local operators and aren't mandatory. Media type is the type of device that the query is looking at to perform the CSS property or to ignore it. The media feature is the specific information the query is gathering about the media type to return a true or false statement, and then if it will apply it or ignore it. And then you have the CSS properties that will be applied if the statement returns true. The @ rules are located either directly in the HTML code in the head section, or they're linked in the CSS file. The local operators or keywords are used to compose a complex query and also to combine multiple media queries into single rules, but separating them with a comma. and is used for combining multiple features together into a single media query. This requires each of the media features to be true for the statement to be true. Not is used to negate a query. This would return a true statement if the query would otherwise be false. A media type is required if the keyword is used. Only is used to apply a style when the entire query is true. This is useful in preventing older browsers from applying selected styles. A media type is required for this keyword also. The comma is used to combine multiple queries into a single rule. Each query is separated by a comma and is treated separately. Therefore, if any query were to be a true statement, the entire query would be true. Learning about the simple CSS media queries. At this time, I'm showing you an example of a simple media query. It contains only a media type. The media query is at media screen, body, and the CSS properties are the body, and it affects the width, and it's going to reduce it by 75%. So if the media is a screen, it will change the body to 75%. So let's look at this. So currently we're going to change our screen to be a Galaxy 5 and nothing's happening. Oh, actually it does. It reduces it by 75%. So all of this area is no longer available for use. So if we go to a tablet size, again, it reduces the size of the width by 75%. And to change it into an actual web page, again, the size is reduced, or the width is reduced by 75%. So now we're going to look at a media query using the AND logical operator. Okay, so this one uses, and it's going to be looking and comparing 3 different types. It has a mobile one that is looking at a minimum width of the screen display of 0 pixels to 400 pixels, and it's going to change the color to grapefruit. The tablet, if it's a tablet, it should be 401 pixels to 960 pixels, and it should take the background to teal or aqua. Now a desktop screen is over 961 pixels, so it will be changing to orange. So we're currently on the desktop and it has changed to the orange. So let's change it to an iPad. Again, it changes it to teal. And a phone changes it to the passion or grapefruit color. Now we're going to go to the media query using the only logical operator. And this one simply says that if the media is only a screen and it's color and it has a minimum width of 500 pixels, then it's going to change this font size to 150 by 150%, and it's going to change the color to plum. We're currently on a phone setting, so it only has a 360 by 640 pixels, so it's not large enough to make any for any of it to take effect. So let's change it to an iPad, and there you go. It changes everything to a plum. And when we switch it to the desktop, again, we still have the plum. We're now looking at a media query using the not logical operator. In a not logical operator, it actually turns the expression into a completely different thing. So what it's saying is that not all of the devices and not all of them are going to be 900 pixel for that to be true. So it cannot be over 900 pixels. The width cannot be over 900 pixels. Otherwise, it's not true. So if it does, then the font style is going to change to 200 pixels, the color red, and a background gray. I think this is supposed to be 200%, but we'll see. So it's not going to work on a desktop. As you can see, it's still the same. So when we move it to an iPad version, there you go. It's increased the font and it has turned the color gray. And the lettering is red, so it meets all of the requirements for it to be a true statement. So let's change it into a phone. Again, it's less than 900 pixels, and so therefore it has turned and it met their things and the CSS properties have applied.